Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. So I've been putting off this video for a hot minute because it's a bit of effort and I'm very lazy lately. So this is the ultimate guide to Skoll and Hati, the dogs. So I've done one for the deer, I've done one for the bird. It's about time I did one for the dogs. I did release a team building video the other day. I will put that in the comment section if you haven't watched it, because I will kind of not presume you've seen it, but it's going to be helpful in terms of like what I'm talking about and the teams that I'm building and how I go about it. So check that out if you haven't, and then come back to this one. Also, we do have a Discord and a whole bunch of knighthoods and stuff, so if you guys are looking for a cool place to come hang out, the Discord's also in the description below, and we do have a couple of knighthoods as well, which I'll throw in there. So anyway, let's get stuck into this. So this is the one I've probably been dreading the most out of the three of them, because the other two I can kind of not do in my sleep, but do a lot easier. Oh, I don't want to give away the team. A lot easier, and this one, like, it can get quite frustrating, at least for me. So a quick, again, like, credentials check, I suppose. I've got 5 out of 12 of them. It's nothing crazy. I can do it with like multiple different teams. Honestly, I just do these once a week because I don't enjoy doing them really, and they're not as like farmable for me as the other ones. But that being said, we'll do one for you guys. Like I said, I'm on the way to the next relic anyway. So this will get me to 10, and maybe I'll finish it off, and I might get my boy Kusak's holy relic. Who knows? Cool. So I am going off the presumption that you guys. I don't want to give away. I've got my team here already. I'm going off the presumption that you guys do have Thona, right? You're going to put Tamil link on her. And that you do have her holy relic. If you don't, you can still potentially do it. It's just a lot more difficult, right? Like, her holy relic does make it a lot easier. The setup I'm running for Thona is attack crit. Is it resistance? Yeah, resistance. I do have defensive rolls on her, just because I find it's more about her tanking stuff than her taking crits. Because I don't know, she always seems to just die easily. So if you need to, you can change these rolls to crit resistance rolls to match your gear if you're getting crit too hard. And I have invested a little bit in some of her gear, but like nothing kind of too crazy. So she says about 58 KCC. So I am presuming you guys have her for this. Obviously she is the staple. I'll go back into it real quick if you guys don't know, but her passive is built for Skoll and Hati, right? Like, you guys need her for Skoll and Hati, just like you need Magelda for bird, or Yorm for deer. Now I get a couple of comments. Green Thona doesn't work. It does need to be this red Thona. Green Thona is used for something else. Cool. So like I said, I've done a team building video on it, and I've shown you guys a few different teams. Like, you've got the King Patience team, and you've got like a Skadi and Brunhild team and stuff like that. I'm going to be using my, again, quote-unquote favorite team, or the team I found easiest to clear this with, and probably the most, I don't say free-to-play friendly, but like, hopefully you guys have these heroes, and this will be the most beneficial. So I'll do one based on this. This one you could probably do similar to like a Skoll and Hati, or like an Escanor team, or like a Brunhild team, if you guys are using those heroes as well. It's probably the biggest replica. I might have to do another one based on the King Patience team, because it is a completely kind of different strategy and kind of setup. But anyway, we'll do this. So first things first, my damage dealer is going to be Trader Melly, and I'm going to give him Sariel Link. Now, the reason I'm also putting him on the left is because, if you guys don't know, the dogs will always attack the person on the left if everyone has full health. Or everyone has the same health, right? So basically full health. So it'll go after the person who has the lowest HP, or the one that's on the furthest on the left. So I'm putting Trader Melly there because with all the single targets we're going to be doing, his stats will be going through the roof, and he'll have some good lifesteal, especially with Thona's relic, which will help him get back a whole bunch of health anyway, even if he does tank those hits. So Trader Melly's kind of like my tank and my DPS. And I am running attack crit on him. I do have full free-to-play cosmetics maxed, and I do have 15% rolls on all of them, so he is kind of ready to go. 60k CC, which is okay for Trader Melly. So he's going to be my damage dealer and almost kind of like my tank. Next, I'm going to have in like a supporting DPS slot role, I'm going to have Freya. Now this is mainly because he does increase stats, which is nice, but it's it's mostly for the ignites. So he makes your team immune to ignites, and I'm going to give him my L link just for the extra damage. So I've got 2 damage graces on 2 of my damage dealers, and that's going to be kind of my starting point. Again, attack crit. Now I've seen some people use attack crit resistance on everyone in the dogs. I personally didn't really find it necessary. I mean, if you guys are getting crit a lot and you're taking a lot of damage, then maybe, but I kind of just wanted to use the mats I already had because I didn't want to waste mats on, I didn't want to waste my free-to-play mats on more gear when it was only very hyper-specific, and I could do it without it. And the final hero I'm using, who's actually like the GOAT of this comp, is actually Green Liz. So Green Liz is, and I'm just going to give her a high dupe ult, just because, and I need to make sure she's got her HP defense gear, just because I don't need any more graces or anything on her. I just need someone that's got a decent amount of tankiness. So yeah, okay. So I'm going to put Brunhild on just because I've got a 6/6 Brunhild, right? So this is the team we're going to be running. Liz comes in clutch for her ult, which increases ult gauge and heals, obviously, and then she also has the level 2 heal, which also cleanses debuff, so she's super helpful for that. And because we get a whole bunch of attack related stats increases because of Thonar, and her heal is based on attack, you get a decent chunk of attack. All right, so I'll run you through kind of like my process here, but this is the team I'm going to be using. Again, like if you're swapping out Trader Melly for like Brunhild, or you're swapping out like Liz for Skadi or Freya for Skadi, you can do that. They both have healing ults, so the only thing you just need to be careful of is your ult timing, and then also obviously not trying to heal when we get recovery disabled. But yeah, this is my favorite team. This is the team that's probably the most consistent for me. And like I said, I've got attack crit on my damage dealers. I have HP defense on Liz, and then I have attack crit resistance on Thonar. And then these are my links gear as well. So attack crit, attack crit, and then HP defense, right? So total team CC is like 280k, which is fine. It'll get the job done, hopefully. Touch wood. And then the artifact support card that we've got is basically the one specific for the dogs, right? So increases all our basic stats by 10%, and then when your ultimate move has 5 gauges, 5 orbs or more, so full ultimate gauge, you become immune to freeze. This is going to be super clutch when we get into it, and I'll explain why. But you do need to be careful. Like if you don't have this card set, it's so RNG heavy, so I'd really recommend getting this card set first. Farm the deer, try and get the card set, and then buy whatever it is it Trader Melly? Yeah, Trader Melly from the shop. In PvP, I know it takes a while to get, but it is definitely worth it. So cool, let's get stuck into it. So this is the team we're going to be using, and I'll run you through the strategies, of course. That's why you guys are here. So floor 1 is hopefully going to be pretty straightforward. We'll see. Depends on RNG, and we'll talk through some passives and stuff as we go. I'll explain the ones basically that you don't want. And the main one is the fist. So if we see a scary fist, that's going to be very annoying. But that's okay. We can still do it without it. So this team I find I can actually get through on pretty much any passive, which is nice. Cool. So first thing we're going to do is basically we're going to attack with Thonar. Now Thonar's passive will increase with the Holy Relic. Thonar's passive. This will start Thonar's passive, and then this will also get her Holy Relic procced as well. So for floor 1, I can actually attack him. I can attack Skoll directly because we'll do damage, but floor 2 and 3, it'll be patient. So we've actually got to attack the other dog. So if you attack the dog that's not the main one, so like if I attacked Hardy now, I'd still do damage, which would count towards Thonar's passive and her Holy Relic. It just obviously wouldn't take away any health bar. Alright, so we're going to do that. I'm also then going to do this. So this is my strategy pretty much every starting phase, because once we get the 3 attacks, this will then give the attack related stat boost, right? I'm going to keep this card and this card because these are my stance removal cards at level 2, which is what I need. And then this is my buff removal card, as you can see. So single target to get the passive proc for melee as well. Then AoE to get the attack related stats, and then we can go on with a single target. So I know that sounds super confusing, but hopefully that makes sense. Like if you guys know what the passives are for each of those heroes, you know that'll make sense. So if I do 2 single targets, it'll proc Melly's defense passive, which means we take less damage, and doing 3 attacks will give me the attack related stat boost. So that's why I want to use a single target then. Cool. So we got a whole bunch of stance removal cards, so we can probably use a couple of them. So for me, what I do here is, if I get the stance removals for everyone, for both, so like for example, I've got it for Freya and for Thona, I'll actually use Thona's single targets, because that'll keep her passive and her Holy Relic going, right? Like I want to get a Holy Relic maxed out as quickly as possible, so that's going to be my plan. So first things first, I'm going to remove the buff. Defense buff, this is where Liz is super helpful. I'm going to go in with a Thonar card, which is going to give us... Actually, I'm going to go in with 2 Thonar cards, because then it's basically just going to give us ult on everyone, which will be really nice. So that gets rid of the buffs. This again procs Melee's passive, right, because I've got a lot of single targets going, so I'm just stacking that defense, that like damage resistance, damage reduction by 40% is the end goal, right? Cool. So now we've got a decent amount of health. We have Liz ult for heals when we need to, but we're trucking along pretty nicely here. So I would have liked another buff removal card, but that's okay. So what we're going to do here, I'm actually contemplating ulting. So I think I might get rid of the stance, and then I might ult with Freya, and then do that, and then heal up as well. So you can also use, like, I'm also using this Liz card just to kind of refill my ultimate gauge a little bit, because ideally I want to have full ult gauge when I go into the fights with Hati. So Skoll, the white dog, is basically gives himself a whole bunch of buffs. So that's what the buff removal's for. But Skadi actually does a whole... but Hati... I keep doing that. Skoll and Hati equals Skadi. It's very frustrating. But Hati gives a whole bunch of debuffs, and that's the super annoying part, is getting debuffed all the time. So ideally you want to have full ult gauge for this, for basically this whole fight, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more. I'm going to risk it because I've still got these 2 cards, and then I'm going to... So this debuff is either going to be a recovery disable or it's going to be a freeze, right? So it'll attack one person then try and freeze them, or it'll be the infect for 2 turns. This is super annoying. So we don't ideally want this. So if it's a freeze, I want to have full ultimate gauge. And if we get recovery disabled, I'm just going to have to yeet damage into him to hopefully kill him to clear the recovery disable before the final phase. There's a few mechanics here. I hope I'm making sense as I go. I know, like, basically, yeah, Skoll is your, like, he buffs himself, and then Hati is your debuffs on you. So ideally I want another Liz card, right? Another Liz green card, so that I can use a level 2 and I can cleanse the debuffs. So I might actually do that, and then I'll do that. So again, I'm using Thonar's attacks to get a Holy Relic as well as increase ultimate gauge. Alright, so we can have as much ultimate gauge as possible. And then this next fight, ideally I'd love another stance removal, and okay, I'm not going to get a heal, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so this is what this attack is. Perfect. So this is good because he's going to try and see. So that's where the card set comes in clutch, because Melee would have been frozen then, and he would have lost all of his buffs, which is really not what you want. So here I'm kind of tempted just to go for the kill, because I don't have a stance card for next turn, and the final fight I want to clear in 1 hit. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'm going to do that, because this will get me to 4 ult gauge. Yeah, okay, so the reason why I did that is because I wanted to clear because I didn't have a stance card, and ideally, like, it's better to get a stance card. And then also I didn't want to get recovery disabled. And I knew I could push ult pretty much straight away again because I had the right cards. Okay, so this is the final phase of floor 1. This is one where you actually need to kill them at the same time. So you actually need to, in like 1 turn, kill them both. So what I'm going to do is I will basically get Freya ult, and then I'm going to Freya ult one, Thonar ult the other, and then I'm going to Trader Melee ult them both. If you have a 6/6 Trader Melee, you could probably just wipe in one shot, because they got rid of the damage cap, but this is the way that I find to be the safest to do it. Also, Hati takes more damage, I think, or has lower HP than... No, more HP, but like Skoll takes less damage. So I'm going to go after Skoll first. And then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. I'm just going to move that. So yeah, but now in this next part, I'm going to have all ults, which is good. So now I'm going to use Freya ult on Hati, Black Dog, and then I'm going to use Thonar ult on Skoll, White Dog. Far out. This is gonna get painful and annoying and confusing. And then I'm gonna use Trader Melee ult. Oh, he cancelled my buffs. That's super annoying. So I don't actually know if we're gonna kill here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that. Then I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do that. And this is where we're actually gonna have to be careful, because I don't know if this is gonna... Should do enough. Surely we can do enough here. Yeah, cool. So basically I did the Liz ult just before Trader Melee ult because I wanted to get full HP before I go into the next fight, right? So basically, in short, that final phase, kill them both in the one turn, if you can. So at least have like one AoE, like Escanor will pretty much one-shot that, even at 1/6. But again, I like Trader Melee just for his passive to reduce the damage. Cool, second floor. Going okay so far. Again, to be honest, the passive from the first floor, I don't even really pay attention to, if I'm honest, guys. We'll have a look at it in a second, just so you guys know what it is, and there's a few different types of passives that you want. But the one thing I've noticed with this team is, and the teams that I try and build for these, is like, it shouldn't matter what passives you have. You should just be able to do the boss, right? So it decreases all enemies' crit resistance and crit defense by 25%. So that is annoying, but the more melee stacks I have, the better, right? So what we're going to do, rather than attack this guy, because this won't do any damage, it'll patience, which means it won't proc her passive, right? So it'll proc her Holy Relic, but it won't for her passive ability. You need to actually do damage for this to start going. So I'm actually going to attack Hati, the Black Dog, while he's chilling on the floor. Then I'm going to do the same process again. Alright, so for the same results. So we do damage, starts the Holy Relic, starts the process. And then we still get the attack related stats boost. I don't mind not doing that damage to Skoll, because we weren't going to do it anyway. And I'd rather get the Holy Relic passive started, right? Because if you don't know, the Holy Relic basically increases your HP related stats by 10% for every time you use a skill, up to 40%, which is really helpful. So that's basically okay, I can't lose track of thought because I can't concentrate at once. But that's basically like HP, like overall, that's lifesteal, that's regeneration rate, that's all of that stuff, right? So that's actually super helpful. And then here I'm gonna do, I actually, so I don't have the cards I necessarily want, but this should increase my attack related stats again. So I should be able to do this, and then that. So I got rid of buffs. So again, I use this card because I have a silver, yeah, okay, we did damage, good. And then because I already have a silver stance removal card, right, for next turn. So that's why I really like bringing Freya and Thonar, because you have a double chance of getting a stance removal card. Sometimes RNG just doesn't like you, which is very frustrating, but you know, you kind of just deal with it. Cool. So ideally, I actually do want a card for melee, because he's taking a little bit of damage. Like, they're fine, but they're getting lower than I would like. So with this use, I'll be at max. This is where I kind of have a thought process. I'm like, do I just use ults and then get it again before I go into next phase? Because having full ults for the next 2 floors is really important. So I think, you know what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to do that, as ridiculous as that seems. And then I'm going to heal, and then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to... Yeah, this is where I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this. Let's do that. So that was kind of overkill for sure. But what it does is it allows me to get rid of the stances, get them lower on HP, and then start to get my ultimate back up for melee. There you go. So I'm going to have full melee again. Perfect. I just needed some melee cards at the end of the day. Like, that's really what I wanted. It also gave me, obviously, a lot more heals as well. So we're back up to a comfortable... I'm going to take my ult gauge. So sometimes that attack takes away ult gauge. I can't remember if it's floor 2 or floor 3, but it is very frustrating. Okay. So I'm not fussed if Thonar loses the attack, like gets frozen, or the attack related stats. I'll explain what I mean in the next floor. But yeah, there's a reason. I want to kill him now because I don't really want to tank an ult if I can help it. Because tanking an ult is just a lot of times unnecessary. Right? So, this floor you can get frozen on random without him attacking. So he didn't freeze anyone because he actually went... So this is where this card set is super valuable. If I didn't have full ult gauge on everyone, one of them would have been randomly frozen. Right? I was saying that I didn't mind Thonar getting frozen. Like, it's more Freya and Trader Melee and Liz that I don't want get frozen. Just because Liz obviously has the heal for everyone. Freya is good damage, and then so is Trader. Like, Trader and probably Liz are the top 2 that I don't want to get frozen, because he'll lose all his buffs, which is key for obviously him doing damage, and then Liz will be my healer. So what I'm going to do here... I'm actually going to do this. So I really want to keep these if I can. I'm really kind of hoping that I get some more Trader Melee single targets, just so I can get my way quickly through this. So this is the problem sometimes with this team, is if you don't get Freya cards or you don't get Trader Melee cards, you don't do as much damage. Now this is good because I've been recovery disabled, but I have a level 2 buff remove, like debuff removal. So that's why, there we go. So that would have been frozen again, right? I would have been frozen again. That's why I popped up with immunity. So I'm going to do that, because I do have a stance card for next turn. And then I'm going to get rid of the recovery disable. We're not doing anywhere enough damage though. I might. That's better. Oh, I missed the second crit. There we go. So now I'm full HP and I don't have recovery disable. So that's why I love that card. Of course. So he'll randomly give debuffs out. And sometimes he'll seal level 2 cards, which is incredibly frustrating, especially when you need a stance removal and you get sealed on the one hero you've got a stance removal for. This is where RNG comes into play a little bit. So what I'm going to do here actually is I'm actually going to ult with melee, get rid of the stance. Then I'm going to do that to get rid of the ult gauge. And then I'm going to do that and that to try and get back ult as quickly as possible. And I'm hoping this is going to get... Oh, there we go. So I got rid of the ult gauge, which is good. And I missed both crits. Fantastic. Okay, 1 crit. That is a little bit frustrating. So now I got the attack related stat boost again. So this is where you kind of have to balance having... Okay, I'm probably going to have to heal now. Because that hurt a bit more than I wanted it to. So I'm starting to stack debuffs. He's got ult again, so I think I might actually just use some ults here. I'm going to use Freya's ult. And then I'm going to heal everyone, because that'll get melee to full as well. And then I'll do that and that just to make sure he dies, because I'm going to go into the final phase here and I don't need a stance removal card. So full HP. Actually, is he actually going to die here? Because he's not, and I'm a little bit kind of in trouble. No. Okay. Well, we should be able to tank this, which is frustrating. I don't really want to have to, but we'll be alright. I'm gonna get recovery disabled again as well, aren't I? So this is the problem: is if you let him stay alive for too long, he'll recovery disable and he'll get very frustrating, and then he'll keep he'll just keep debuffing you. So Hati is by far my least favorite because he's super frustrating. I think I'm just going to not worry about the recovery disable. I'm just going to try and bully my way straight through the I should have done the other cards first, is what I should have done. So this is the only, like, far out, so annoying. This is the only, like, this floor and the first floor, the only floors you can actually do that. When you get to level, I think I'm dead here actually. We might have to start this floor again. Oh, I don't really want to start, yeah, okay. So we got super unlucky there. We didn't get the cards and stuff that we wanted. So I'm not going to cut this out or edit this. I'm just going to show you guys like literally what happens when you do these dogs. This is why I find these so frustrating. Because if you don't get the cards that you need and you don't get the right RNG, there's just nothing really you can do about it there. I probably could have altered with Trader Melee, but then I risk him getting frozen in the final phase. So, alright, we're going to quickly speed through this. So just going to do the same setup that we ran before. It's super annoying. Alright. So again, same process. I want to have full ultimate gauge if I can when I get to Hati, because he will just recovery disable me, he'll freeze me, so he's super, super annoying. So bringing Liz allows you to kind of make Skoll a little bit redundant, because you just remove his buffs and then just do damage into him. It's Hati that you kind of need to do all the prep for. Cool, I got a stance removal card, and I've got a level 2 heal, so that's actually super helpful. So I will... Okay, so Trader Man actually took quite a fair chunk of damage there, but what I'm going to do is I will do... get rid of a buff. I'm going to do that. And then this should be able to heal me back a decent chunk. So this is why using Thonar and a Holy Relic is actually really helpful, because you get a lot of lifesteal every time you do damage now. So... this should heal me back a big chunk. You got 168k HP back. So now I have full HP, not full HP, full ults for basically everyone. But again, I think I'm actually going to use a couple here just to clear through. Is it worth me ulting? Nah, I think I can tank it. Alright. We're going to tank the ult. But what I will do is I'm actually going to ult with him, and then I'm going to heal next turn, because this ult's going to do a little bit of damage, which is frustrating. So this is where the balance comes in, right? Like if you guys are like, you know, 300 plus KCC, you'll do enough damage, you'll walk through this. But like if you're kind of on the lower side like I am, in terms of like what you kind of recommend to do this boss, then I need to skip these. Then you need to be you need to know when to use ults, when not to use ults, and he got rid of my ult gauge, of course he did. And okay. So the passive we have is decrease all crit, which is probably one of the worst passives to get, to be honest. So not a whole lot of fun. So I'm going to do this, this, and I need to heal because otherwise I am dead. Which is frustrating because you got rid of my ult gauge, which is not what I wanted. Patience, perfect. And then hopefully this will do a decent amount of healing. Not quite enough. So this is the problem now. Liz, because she's got the lowest HP, she's going to get targeted, which is less than ideal. But hopefully they're just doing a whole bunch of buffs, which is nice. So I can just get rid of this buff. So I'm going to get rid of this buff after I do this. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I'm actually... Yeah, I think I just need to kill here. I'm hoping this does enough damage to kill. If it doesn't, I'm going to pause and reset and then actually go through. This probably won't actually do enough, will it? No. Am I going to be able to survive this? Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm getting so many Liz cards. Okay, now this is actually not bad because I'm going to ult with... I'm going to get rid of buffs and then I'm going to ult with Thonar. That'll give me the level 2 cleanse. So I'm going to do buff removal, that. I know surely that's going to kill. Yeah, we're fine. And then I'm going to heal. So Freya and Trader Melly both now have full ult gauge. Let's go into this fight. I don't really want... Okay, we're good. So now I've got a level 2 here for the next fight, which is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. You know what? I'm actually going to ult here because I don't want to muck around too much in this phase if I can help it. So this will get me back to 2 ult gauge, 3 ult gauge. So he might get frozen here, but if actually I don't really. I can cleanse it. So if I get frozen, then I can cleanse it if I get recovery disabled. Right. As well. Come on, attack him again. Do it again. That's okay. And recovery disabled, what I'll do is I'll cleanse that. There you go. So immunity. Oh, do I cleanse it this fight? I think I cleanse it next fight, actually. I think that's what I do. Wait, what's that purple one? Decreases the attack-related stats of all enemies. So I could probably... Yeah, I think I'll save the cleanse for the next fight. And then I'll do... that. There's a lot of thought process that goes in here, as you can tell. Like, it's not just as simple as just walking through it like with the other one, which is why I fought off doing this one for so long, if I'm honest. Just because it takes way more brain power than I want it to take. Oh, and she got level 2'd. That's okay, I will... I'll heal up here. So this is again perfectly exactly what you don't want to have happen if you can help it. So I'm going to get rid of the stance. I'm going to alt. And then I think I will alt again and then heal. Now this is probably super risky. I probably shouldn't have done this, but I am tired of getting stuck on this phase. Yeah, I probably didn't need to ult the second time as well, but that's okay. And now we go proc this to get a few more ult gauge. So I'm just hoping, fingers crossed here, that they go to freeze Melly again. Or who gets frozen? Yeah, okay, Liz gets frozen. So this fight, you basically want to kill Hati as quickly as possible because he's the one that freezes your team, as you can see. So I'm going to do that, because then this will give me ult on everyone actually. There. So this is why Thonar's Relic is so good, because every time you use a skill, it increases your ultimate gauge for everyone, right? And then having full ultimate gauge works really well so you don't get frozen. So that's the whole purpose of this. Is so stuff like that happens. So I got full HP, I got full ult gauge on everyone, so I'm in a pretty good spot now. So that's where you can kind of sometimes risk, and except when he takes away all my ultimate gauge for melee. So I'm going to, I want to kill Hati as quickly as possible, because he's the one that does all the freezing, and then Skoll's fine after that. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to pop the heal, and then I'm going to do this, and then this will give me Melee's ult, which again is one of the main reasons that one of the main people I want to have ultimate. Also, if you take too long, they'll get a resurrection. So as you can see, it took more than like I think it's like 4 or 5 moves to kill one guy, and then if you don't kill him, then he'll get a res. So what I'm going to do here, and I can't get rid of the taunt either, and get rid of my ult gauge. So it's like, this is just like super frustrating as a boss. So we're just going to do, and then I'm going to get rid of buff, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do, I guess we do that to make sure I get a couple of ults here. And then I did attack, yeah good, I did attack the right one. 134k, and we're going to get rid of ult gauge. So now I've got, and melee gets frozen, and I get a melee card. Oh, this boss annoys me. This boss annoys me so much. Because now I lose all of Melee's passives, right? Which is just not what I want to have happen. I lose all the stat boosts, all the attack related stat increases, all of it. So now I'm going to have to do this to heal everyone up. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to do that. No. What I'm going to do, I'm going to heal. No. I'm going to ult him. I'm going to heal. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do that to make sure melee doesn't get frozen again. I'm going to have to tank this ult, which is frustrating. Oh, I didn't even get him down to... Didn't even kill him. That's annoying. So if you have a 6/6 Freya there, you do that, and you do well there. Now Liz gets frozen. I have to take this ult. Okay, so the ults aren't that scary. The later on you get, it's more just all the debuffs and the buffs and all the. So there you go. Yeah, it adapts again. I'm just going to use melee ult here. I think it's the only way to do it. And I'm going to get bled again. Frustrating. All right. I'm just going to do everything I can to kill Hati here. He should die here. Nope. Okay. He should die now. Yeah. And then it's just Skoll left. All right. So Skoll's a lot easier. He just basically buffs himself. It's all these bleeds and stuff that becomes insanely frustrating. He does get rid of ultimate gauge, I think, from memory. Yeah. He deletes like up to 5 ultimate gauge. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to merge these. Do that. And then I'm going to do that. And I'll do that. That's way more thought process than I want these to be. He's got revive again, right? But basically, as long as I can just keep getting my Liz ult, I can keep healing through the damage he dishes out. I don't have to worry about debuffs. And I can just smash through it. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to... Oh, I've still got res. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And then that. So I'm going to get everyone's ult. And then I'm going to just ult in with Thona, ult in with Freya, heal up, and then ult in with melee. In fact, I'll probably go Thona, I'll go Thona, then heal, then melee. No, I don't have Thonas. Never mind. I will... you're going to take away his ult gauge? Please don't. So frustrating. So frustrating. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do... that, and then I'm hoping that this kills. Decent amount of heal there. Perfect. We're all full HP, and then melee surely kills here. All right, we're getting there. Final floor. So I know I said this is the ultimate guide. This is a guide, right? It's not as like I said, not as easy as the other ones, but takes a little bit more time, and is harder than the other ones. Right, so, and again, this is my most consistent team. I have done it with like Escanor and Brunhild and stuff, but just the damage reduction is super helpful. The immune to ignites is obviously clutch. The debuff removal from Liz, it's all super helpful, right? So this is probably maybe not the team I recommend the most. There you go. Increase your attack by 5% for every debuff and decrease. This is the one that's kind of stuffing us up a little bit here at the moment. So again, I'm just going to do exactly the same thing again. Get some passives going. Get some holy relics going. I'm actually super excited for like a Freya holy relic. I wonder what it'll do. And same thing with like a Trader Melee holy relic. Like, I know he doesn't really need one, but that'd be so cool. Actually, it's going to be it's going to be a snake material holy relic, isn't it? That's going to be the problem. Cool. So we're doing okay here. This is where it's probably going to take a little bit more, like, you need to kind of use ults a little bit more freely here. I've found, just because it's a little bit I lost my train of thought because I'm concentrating again. There, done. Because they're obviously a lot tankier, right? It's a final floor, so in order to do it... Oh, I also, to call out as well, I do have Green Liz's Holy Relic, which is increase all HP related stats by 15%. That is super clutch in this boss. Because as you can see, I got very low in previous fights, and if I hadn't had the relic, then I would be stuffed. So, definitely recommend it. But again, like, floor 2 and 3 are kind of the same. The goal is basically to have full HP gauge to go into... So see there, he's actually got a taunt. So if I don't have a stance removal, I am kind of stuffed. And then let's try and proximal holy relic. I'm a little bit concerned that that's going to patience because it's only level 1. And my Thona, I don't have, 10 mil box CC for all the boosts and stuff. So we'll have to see. But yeah, basically floor 2 and 3 are the same. Floor 3 is obviously just a bit harder. He's a bit... Oh no, cool, we did do damage. Floor 3 is just tankier and they do more damage. So save your ults for Hardy. Make sure you have a stance removal, which we got lucky there. I might actually use a couple of ults here just to get rid of ults. No. Oh, wow. That was what we'd like to call close. I'm just going to do this. And then this. And then this. And then I'm going to heal. That was way close. And this is the problem with the shield, the crit decrease. Like, cool, so we got rid of our gauge and we're almost at nothing. That's good. And now we're healing everyone. Perfect. Okay. Oh my gosh, how many Liz cards are you going to give me? That is not what I wanted. And we got the taunt up again, and he's got ult again. I'm honestly contemplating I'm really contemplating just using Trader Melee ult here. It's not going to put me in a good position for next fight though. That's the problem. That is the concern. I'm just going to do that. Oh yeah. So we got rid of ult again. That's actually probably perfect. So now I have another buff removal. I've got a melee card. What I might actually do I think this is actually perfect, I think. Yeah. And then I'm gonna heal up and I'm gonna get everyone's ults apart from Liz's, but that's okay, I can merge cards if I need to get her ult in case she gets frozen. Okay. So Melee's got a dissolve on him. So I'm pretty much gonna use his ult now, otherwise I lose it. Right? So I'm gonna ult with Melee, and then I'm going to do I just ult with everyone? I'm kinda contemplating it. Yep, I'm just gonna do it. And then I'm gonna heal next turn. Is the plan, or like cleanse the debuff next turn. So close. So now I only have to tank one lots of Skadi, right? Which is a good thing. Okay, recovery disable's fine. So I'm gonna cleanse that and cleanse all the debuffs on me. Frozen? Damn. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna cleanse that. And then I'm gonna do that, and I don't know if that's gonna be enough to kill. I might do that because Melee's going to do like a no damage now because of his lack of attack related buff. Yeah, so I think this should hopefully kill. Is the game plan? Come on Freya. Come on. Yes. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So I could potentially get frozen again. This is actually that's actually not a bad debuff, I don't think. The start of this increased attack with the highest remaining HP by 30%. So he's frozen again, which is frustrating. But what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go... So same thing again, I need to kill Hati first. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Actually, no, I'm going to do this first because then I can use Holy Relic. Alright, I can get the Holy Relic. Then I get another stack, and then I'm going to... Maybe I might save that actually for when I desperately need it. Okay, so this is where the kind of the thought process comes in. So this way I'll now have Thonar roll. It's okay, I don't mind patiencing. It's not a big deal. Frozen again, okay. That's okay. So Melee's broken out of the freeze. Okay, so I'm going to do here is I'm going to heal. That'll give everyone full ult gauge. I'm hoping this kills Hati here. I don't actually know if it's going to, because we don't have... So close. So what I can do now is I should be able to ult. Perfect. Are you going to lose my ult? Nice. Perfect. Okay. But I can get rid of this buff. So this is the thing, like they do so much to like counteract it, like to like complement each other. It's so frustrating. Honestly, I'm like, if I... I'm just going to do this. This. No. 1, and then 2, 3, 4. This should kill. Perfect. Done. So now it's just Skoll left. So I don't care really too much about Skoll. Like, even if he kind of kills Liz here, I think I can just brute force my way through it. Obviously, ideally, I don't want Liz to die, because I wouldn't mind finishing it with... Yeah, there we go. She's dead. So because I've still got the HP-related stats, it's not actually the end of the world. Oh, never mind. That's close to the end of the world, apparently. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So this is not the smoothest run. If I'd got another heal card then everyone would have been fine. But, and this is the thing, sometimes they complement each other so well when, like, if you'd altered and been able to, like, kill him, then the other one, like, stops you from being able to ult. Like, it gets very frustrating. And I think actually Thona might die, maybe? Okay. So I'm going to do 1, 2. Yes, that gives me... I'm going to do this first. I'm going to oh, no. I'm going to ult first. And then do that and that to get ults on everyone else. So he's probably going to get a revive shortly as well, I would say. A resurrect, maybe? I just need to do this just to try and get some health back a little bit. And now we should be able to finish this off with... Unless he kills everyone. That's fine. Get rid of my ult gauge. I don't mind about that. Okay. So now I'm going to do this, this, this. And this should be game, in theory. This is a long video. Wow. I do not like the dogs. Cool. Done. Alright. So, case in point is it's not super easy. It definitely takes a little bit longer. If I got a bit better RNG there, I've been able to heal through it and stuff like that. But basically, in short, Hardy's the worst. Skoll you can deal with. Second and third floor, kill Hardy first as quickly as you can. Try and have 5 ultimate gauge so you don't get randomly frozen. Or maybe rather than using Trader Melee who relies on buffs, maybe pick someone like Escanor if you don't need to tank as much damage. But yeah, so that's the quote-unquote ultimate guide. I'll probably do another couple just for like cleaner runs and just show you guys what, like how it can be better, or like maybe using different teams. So I suppose that's like one of 2 or 3 ultimate guides. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope that will potentially help you guys get through the dogs if you're still struggling. Like I said, I still obviously don't clear it perfectly every single time, but you know, I can clear it and I can get some holy relics. So best of luck. Let me know how you guys go, and feel free to flame me or whatever in the comments below. I'm sure you guys will, because I lost someone and it wasn't as clean. But anyway, thanks for your support, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.